So there was a time when he started like forcing me to pay money to him, and then he was like kind of telling me that if you don't do this, you'll have consequences, like I'll take you to office and all that jazz. Hi everyone, my name is Twinkle and welcome back to another new fresh video on my YouTube channel. In this video, I'm going to share with you all a very interesting incident that happened with me when I was still flying with Qatar Airways. As you all have been flooding my DMs and commenting me about making a video on an incident that has happened with me, something like a story time video. You really wanted to have that kind of a video from me, so here I am. But before I start narrating you the whole incident, I want you to watch the video until the end so you get to know the whole story, the whole picture. And also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then go ahead, hit the subscribe button, and if you like the kind of videos I make, then do like this video and share as much as you can. And on that note, let's get into the video. So this one is pretty old because first I wasn't a supervisor by then, and I was a first class cabin crew, F1 position, and I was pretty new in that position as well. So this flight was from Doha to Delhi and Delhi to Doha. It was a layover, Delhi layover. Super excited about that layover because I was going home. My home's Delhi, I was going home. It was a requested flight, a short flight, and the crew, again, Indian mafia. That's how you call it because most of the crew were Indian. So because the story revolves around me and another crew and then the CSD, so it is imperative that I tell you that the CSD was a male crew and he was from India as well. So Indian mafia, Indian crew. So it was going to be a normal flight, a happy flight, and a flight without possibly any problems. Yeah. So before I get more into the story, let me tell you that the CSD is the senior-most position in the aircraft, and apart from the other things that they usually get an iPad. Now the company issues the iPad to the CSDs so that they have the most updated knowledge about passengers, about the meal choices, about anything and everything. If they want to check from every little thing, they have the most updated information, and it is very important sort of a device that the company gives, that the company issues before every flight. They literally go to the briefing office, where that is the place, that is the office where every CSD goes, collects the flight information, the iPads, and then they proceed to the briefing rooms where we all discuss and sort of decide positions and a lot of other things that we are supposed to do in flight. So this is another thing. Apart from that, we also have bar keys that is given to CSD so that they can open the bars in flight, and the key to the locks are with the CS and CSDs. So coming back, we had a normal briefing and everything was pretty sorted, looked chilled. We did the first sector, it was smooth and looked great. On the way back, which was from Delhi to Doha, yes, another thing that I noticed, now I remember because it's very spontaneous, was that the CSD was a little picky, like about the language we speak, because of course, if you follow me, you know that the rules also include that you speak in English only and not in your local language. So he was really particular about the language and stuff like that, and otherwise he was fine. So we were done with the layover. On the way back, when we were all supposed and set to go back, there was a thing. Okay, so if apart from the positions and apart from the responsibility that you discuss in the briefing room, comes another responsibility, that there are announcements that are made by the CS and CSDs in English, and if the CSD is Arabic and we don't have another Arabic crew to make the Arabic announcement, they kind of distribute and sort of pre-decide the work that they have to do in flight. So if a person who's going to make announcements will already know. Why am I telling you this? Because on the way back, out of nowhere, he tells me that you're supposed to do announcements. I think I did this in the first sector also. On just after takeoff, he just calls me and I was like, I don't have the updated booklet. We all can collect a booklet from the office about the announcements and stuff like that. So he offered me to give his iPad. Like, he asked me, you can take the iPad, and I took the iPad. So my position, because I was sitting on the L2 position, L2 or R2, yeah, L2 position, and I took the iPad, and during takeoff and landing, that is the place where we usually, like, we brace and all that. So we usually store it behind the back, and then that is the place you store it, because there's no other place. You can't really put it under your lap. When you sit straight, and that is the only place. So either you hold it in your hand, if not that, you can put it behind. So that's how it happens. So out of nowhere, he told me to do the announcements. What I'm telling you is I wasn't prepared. Otherwise, I usually don't believe in taking iPads. So another thing, now the flight was going fine. I was handling the iPad, and then this guy, the CSDs, once everything got done, he was busy in flight taking debriefing of another male crew. Now he was really picky in flight, and he had some of the other issue with economy crew, because he was discussing it with me that I don't like the kind of tone he has or whatever, probably because the guy was flamboyant, or I don't know what the problem was, but it was an economy crew. He looked fine because we all had a word in the bus. He was fine, but I was thinking that the CSD was really picky and he was really taking his case. So he was on to him. He wasn't really doing his work that he's supposed to do. He's like, there's light load and I'm sure that you guys can handle. I'll go to the economy and check on these crews. So he was picking on them constantly. When I went back, I got a lot of opinions, like bad feedback about the CST from the economy crew as well. So when I returned back, I was just hoping for the flight to get over, because that poor guy was getting debriefed throughout the flight. He was pissing them off. He was, I don't know, there was a kind of tiff, cold war between the two males. Why I'm telling you, because this is kind of related again. So now there's this iPad which is with me, and now there is this crew who's getting debriefed. Okay, yeah. So now whenever there is another crew who requires an iPad from anyone, of course it's with me or if it's with someone else, if they ask, I'll give it to them. And I will not go and ask, okay, where is the iPad and all. Okay, they need the iPad, they return to the CST. Even if I take it, he's like, okay, keep it to yourself, because there was no CST. Now, coming back, I hope you guys are not confused. So the CSD is taking debriefing on the way back from Delhi to Doha throughout the flight of this guy, and I have the iPad for now because he gave me for the announcements. Okay, so now there was a crew who asked me for the iPad, which was the R2, and she took the iPad, and later what she did with it, I have no clue. She got the iPad. Now the flight is done, the top of descent comes, I make announcements, and then as far as I remember, the crew took the iPad after landing from me. That okay, she'll take it and she'll I didn't really pay attention to what she's going to do, because it's an iPad and whoever wants it can have access to it, because again it's for everybody to access until and unless the CSD mentions that no, I will not be giving iPad and don't take it from me, and things like that, which again is not a protocol, but you can do whatever you feel like. So now the iPad is apparently with this crew, and the CSD has given me his iPad. Now, we all land, we pack, we do our things, and we get down to the bus. The debriefing is still on. He's not even bothered to take his things. I'm reminding him, because we are just two, three crew in the forward, and apart from the CSD, so we are reminding him, okay, take your jacket or take your this and do your thing, because he's taken this thing personally, and this thing is on and on and on. So we had this transport from the the aircraft to take us to the building, the technical building, where we all check in, like sign in, sign out, and collect our baggage, and then take our transport from the office, from the technical building, back to the our accommodations. So we are back there the whole time in the flight. He has no time to discuss, nothing. I have no idea. The iPad story is not there anymore. We have no clue about the iPad. Nobody knows what's happening. The CSD is busy. He's got off the flight. He's in the bus. He's not bothered. Debriefing. So there is as soon as you enter the technical building, there is an immigration area where you're all supposed to put your RPs down, you sign in, you sort of show it is to check that it's like a proof that you're coming back into the country. So not from the airport, but from the technical building. So there is an immigration guy as well. So all that procedure happens, and I see the CSD still busy with this guy taking his case. Why we're discussing? Because everybody was discussing about this. That the CSD has done a lot. That there is a proper way to debrief. If you want to debrief, you write a report, you talk to him in the room. But I don't know what was happening all this while. So we sign out, we check out. I went back to my accommodation. I don't even know what happened. Now I'm home already. Yeah. So I'm home already. I have changed. I'm done. I'm in my pajamas. I'm ready to cook. And what happens is my landline rings. And I pick up the phone, and guess what? Who's on the phone? It's the CSD of the flight. So now I'm thinking that probably this is from the debriefing session that he wants to include me or something. But to my surprise, he asks me, Twinkle, where is the iPad? I think you have taken it with you by mistake. So if you've forgotten about it, I will come and take it from you. I took your number from the briefing office so that you don't have to get into trouble, you don't have to take the pain of coming. I will come, or you probably come, and let's just return me your iPad. And I was like, what? What are you even talking about? What iPad? Though this was not my tone, because of course I'm a very junior crew and I wasn't a supervisor and I was new. I was a CSD, of course there's a way. So I was like, I don't have the iPad. It's, I don't know where it is. It's the R2 crew who took it from me, and then I don't know where it is. She took it after landing, and probably I thought that she must have returned to you. So he started asking me where you kept it. I called the other crew. She said it's with you, it's not with me. So this story sort of started cooking up, that now the situation is that the iPad is lost, that there is no iPad with the CSD, and the CSD realizes it when he's back into the office, and now he's supposed to go to the office. Remember I told you that you're supposed to go in the office to collect. Now after the flight, you're supposed to go back, give them the flight brief and return the iPad. It gets checked if there is any damage or anything which is reported. So basically you get cleared from them. So that is the point where he realized that he did not have the iPad. And from there, he calls me, takes my number from the briefing office, and he calls me from there. So we kind of discussed that, I don't think so, because I was feeling bad, because let me tell you that the iPad costs money. So now there is a smaller iPad and now there is a bigger one. So the fine is somewhere around 3,500 riyals for a small one, and 6,000 or 7,000, I'm not too sure, but it's a very big amount. It is, I think, more like double the amount from the actual cost. Why? Because it has confidential data of the company, and now it's locked and they have things. Though it is useless, nobody can use it, because it only has company stuff, and the company from their IT department can actually do something and then they'll lock. So whosoever gets it, it's usually, it's basically useless. So coming back again to the conversation, now this CSD is talking to me on the phone and he's telling me that this is the situation. Oh, I was thinking probably that it's in your pocket or somewhere. He's kind of trying to give me things that, oh, you must have forgotten, oh, you must have forgotten. But I was like, I've given it to the crew. The last person after me to take it was her, and now what she did, I have no clue. He was asking me, where did you store it and where did you keep it? I was like, all this while I had kept it with me here, like in the jump seat on the table, but I gave it to her, and now what she has done with it, I have no clue. Like if she's kept it on the galley top or any other place, I have no clue. But another question that was running through my mind was, what were you doing until now? Of course, I didn't ask him, but I was like, if you were not busy doing debriefing for that guy all this while, you would have known this thing before. Like even if you were in the bus, you could have gone back, checked it. But now it was already too late. So let me tell you, once you cross the immigration, there was no way that he could go back, search, because after you land, there are different people who come in the aircraft. There's cleaning staff, there's security department, there is other set of crew who comes in. So now when we were deplaning, he already knew the CSD of the next flight who took over the flight, and they were taking it to some destination. And he remembers who was taking over. So again, he takes the number and he tells me that this conversation that once he's done, he was talking to me on the phone, on the landline. He told me that okay, I will get back to you, but I will keep you informed, and you also try to talk to people and try to send message, or if you know from. So I was like, yeah, even I know the CSD, or there was another crew that I knew from the flight. Let me try to send them a message or something if they have their phones on. So I was trying to give my full support, and I wanted to help him. Because he was polite by then, he was normal, he was of course nervous or whatever, but he was like, okay, I'll do my stuff. So he does it, and then he calls me back again after some time, telling me that he tried to go back to the aircraft, he checked with the security staff, he tried to speak to the CSD, he took help from the briefing office, they tried to connect, but the story was now that the iPad was not there. There was no iPad in the seat, not anywhere else. The iPad was vanished, like it had disappeared. There was nothing. So now the situation is that on the second call now, he's explaining me all this, and I'm like, in my mind, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, why are you telling me all this? I had the iPad and now I gave it to another crew. Now the other crew is telling you that I don't have it, and because you think that you gave me the iPad for announcements, I should have it. He was basically through his talks trying to tell me that it was your responsibility, it's your responsibility, and later slowly he was coming to the point that probably I'll have to take the responsibility. In short, I'll have to pay the penalties to the office or pay the money to him. And he's telling me you have to pay the money. So I was like, okay, let's see what happens. He's like, I'll keep you posted. I will see what the company does. If they find it, if they find the iPad or the office does something, I will tell you what penalty says. So at least, you can pay. So I was like, yeah, I will pay half or whatever. I was in that flow. I didn't know. And also I was nervous because I was new. Plus I also didn't know that what should I do. So I was like, okay, in the back of my mind, I was thinking, okay, I might even pay half of it. So he asked me my number, and I gave him my personal number. He said, I will be in touch with you. I'll keep you posted, and you try to help. So he was seeking help from me, which basically, like, later on I got to know that there was no help that he was seeking from me. He was just wanting to have money from me of the iPad. So now the story got over. Then he started calling me again and again and messaging me on my personal number, telling me stories and asking me money. When are you paying me? When are you paying me? And I have to give this money. There is salary, blah, blah, blah. So at that time, I also started getting pissed. So now I wanted to check with other people. Luckily, I started using my brain and I started contacting other CSTs. I talked to other CSTs and I spoke with them, and they sort of told me that no, it's not your problem. He said, yeah, we're feeling sad about it, but it's still the responsibility of the CS and CST. Once the office issues you something, it becomes your whole sole responsibility for the iPad. And in any case, the office will deduct it from his salary. If there is an investigation and if they find it, it will get deducted from his salary. They will not ask you, they will not even contact you. In fact, they will not even entertain that CSD if he talks about that the crew lost it or whatever. They think that they have given the iPad to you. So as a CSD, as a responsible supervisor, senior crew member, you're supposed to take care of that iPad. And if it gets lost, which is also explained them in training later. I know this because I've now when I became supervisor, they told us no matter you lose it, you damage it, it's up to you how you manage it. So you have to take care of it all this while. If there are any damages, you will be paying for it. Later on, I got the clarity of what actually happens if something, all of the things that the company gives you, it's your responsibility. So now he calls me the other time, and I already had this thing in my mind that this guy is now trying to take advantage, because now he was pissing me off. He was constantly calling me, messaging me. So on a call, he calls me and he's like, when are you paying money? And you're supposed to pay full money. See, this is not my problem. This is your problem. And he tried to put it in a conversation. He was trying to kind of threaten me, kind of tell me that if you don't do it, there'll be consequences. I'll take you to the office, this, that. And at that moment, I lost it and I was like, fine, I'm not being a part of it. I will not mind paying it for the iPad if the company asks me to do so. And there it was. He says, okay, then I'll see you in office. And I also, out of the, I also got a little revved up, and I told him, yes, I will see you in office. If the office calls me, I will talk to them. And if they ask me to pay, I will pay also. But I will not pay you directly, which he wanted that I should pay, in person. I will pay him personally without office's information, because anyway the money is going to get deducted from his salary. So if I pay him, okay, he'll be able to recover his penalty or whatever. So later on, finally, I did not pay him, and while speaking to other CSDs, I got to know that it was correct. He is not supposed to ask from me. And let me tell you, after I did this, he never called me. I told him that if you call me up, I'll report you to the office, because now you're calling me, you're irritating, you're harassing me on my personal number, and on some professional grounds or whatever, you're kind of forcing things on me. And if literally I'm responsible, the office will penalize me, and fine, I will pay in the knowledge of office, and everybody will know about it. If I'm actually at fault, fine, I will pay for it, but I will not pay it personally, like without any information to the office. And there it was. I never got a call from anyone, no calls from the office, no calls from this guy, which means I was correct. And this guy, probably, I don't know now what happened to this guy. Also because it was a very new incident, and an incident that I still remember, and I remembered all this while. I still remember his name and his face and everything. Of course, I can't reveal any identities, but if I did not act in that way, just imagine that I sort of it backfired, and I kind of reacted in a way that fine, I'll pay, but in the knowledge of office. And I am this way that I had to take a step, and I had to take a stand for myself. And imagine the crew who are innocent and who don't know about it. They actually get exploited by this. They would have paid. And I can assure you, if there was any other crew, out of nervousness or out of the fear of losing their job, because that's what he was trying to do also, like there will be consequences, and people trying to avoid, going to office and explain and the whole procedure, they would have paid. They would definitely have paid, at least half or full or whatever. I actually felt bad, but then there is always a way. And if it's not my fault, why are you pushing things on me? And then later on, when I was speaking to CSDs and other people around, they all told me that no matter what, it is the CSD's responsibility. If this guy would have checked his things before getting down from the flight, which he didn't, because he was absolutely very busy doing debriefing, which is not the perfect way. That's not how you do it, because then you miss these things. This happens. So it was basically a consequence of his irresponsibility that he was putting it on me. And that was all about this incident that happened with me. Nothing happened, everything was fine, and this was the incident that happened with me. And I hope that you enjoyed listening to this story. I will come up with more incident stories and videos which talks about my experiences, and some really interesting ones coming your way. Let me know in the comment section below what you think about it. If you have had any other incidents, if you are a crew, if you've had incidents or any other episodes which you want to talk about, comment below and let me know. I will be happy to read them, and I will see you in my next video. Till then, take care and bye bye.